Greece is tonight in uncharted territory and facing an uncertain future. Voters there overwhelmingly rejected the terms of an international bailout. The no vote inflamed an already dangerous impasse that could see the country expelled from the Eurozone. European leaders are now scrambling to figure out their next move. And just hours after helping secure a landslide victory in the referendum, the Greek finance minister has resigned. From Athens, here's Europe correspondent Mary Guerin.
A victory celebration, but for how long? Greek voters flocked to the central square in Athens as news came in that more than 60% voted no to bail out austerity measures. The threat of losing their place in the Eurozone was less important than maintaining their dignity.
We don't want to be slaves.
Many don't believe the uncertain path they've chosen leads to Greece printing its old currency, the drachma.
You're not afraid of leaving the Eurozone?
No, we're not afraid. We are a member of the Eurozone and we do not believe that they are going to throw us out of the Eurozone.
These people believe the result is a victory over austerity. Now, the big question is, does it enable the Greek government to strike a deal with the country's creditors? Or has there simply been too much bad blood?
As the smoke cleared, there was a surprising peace offering. One of the most famous irritants to the Europeans, Finance Minister Yanis Varoufakis, says he's leaving because creditors and his Prime Minister feel an agreement's more likely without him. He had pledged to reopen banks early this week, but that won't happen without emergency aid from Europe.
The promise of the Minister of Finance that the banks will open tomorrow and that money will be available from tomorrow or Tuesday seems to me very difficult and dangerous.
With his country on the brink of going bust, Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras is still defiant.
We proved that even under the most difficult circumstances, democracy cannot be blackmailed.
Now it's up to Europe to respond to this strong Greek message.
And Europe correspondent Mary Guerin joins us now from Athens. Mary, the finance minister's decision to resign was incredibly sudden, wasn't it?
It was, Juanita. I guess in a way it's not surprising because it's no secret he's been a major aggravation to the people he's been dealing with in Brussels. He's used provocative language. He's famously accused the creditors of terrorism. He's even taken a parting swipe at them, saying that he will wear the creditors' loathing with pride. So perhaps not surprising insofar as perhaps there will be more likely to be an agreement in his absence. But the fundamental problem for Greece remains, and perhaps the no vote has made that worse. The country is running out of cash, and there's this deepening rift between the country and its creditors.
Indeed, it was an overwhelming no vote from the Greek people. So what happens in negotiations about Greece's debt now?
Well, it's hard to see how it could be anything other than very, very difficult or even openly hostile. European leaders have really been taken by surprise on this. They've announced an emergency summit for Tuesday. And in the meantime, the European Central Bank is due to meet, and it faces an incredibly difficult decision. Given now that there's no immediate prospect of a bailout deal, it's hard for the bank to justify giving that emergency funding to Greece. But without that funding, banks here will close, and that, of course, will trigger an even greater financial and humanitarian crisis. It's likely the European Central Bank will hold fire until European politicians make their call. So in the end, Greek voters have made their choice, but once again, it's up to the country's lenders to decide the country's immediate fate.
Europe correspondent Mary Guerin reporting there from Athens.